We made a list with curious facts that almost nobody knows. There are curiosities about science, history, animals, and even about Brazil. Just look closely at the reality around us to identify countless interesting events. Now, the world is curious, and we love to get to know it more and more. Let's go. 1. Marie Curie's notebooks have remained radioactive for more than a century. One of the notebooks of the Polish scientist Marie Curie, 1867 to 1934, the first woman to win the Nobel Prize. The notebooks of scientist Marie Curie, responsible for the discovery of the chemical elements polonium and radium, are still radioactive. The long period of exposure to radioactivity was fatal for Marie Curie, and, even more than a century after the experiments, the notebooks she used are still highly dangerous. 2. We are populated by bacteria. There are more bacteria in your body than there are people across the face of the Earth. There are approximately 100 trillion of them living in our bodies. 3. The footprints of the astronauts are still on the Moon. Footprint left by Buzz Aldrin in July 1969. Decades after the Apollo program, it is still possible to follow in the footsteps of the astronauts who stepped on the Moon. This is because there is no atmosphere on the Moon. Therefore, there is no possibility of erosion by wind or rain. 4. The US flags are also there. Photos taken in 2009 by the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, LRO, a probe sent by NASA to monitor the Moon, prove that the 6 flags left by American astronauts between 1969 and 1975 are still there. But due to the action of ultraviolet rays, they are completely faded. 5. We are the void. We have about 7 octillion atoms in our body. Each atom, the basic unit of matter, contains a massive, dense nucleus surrounded by electrons. It turns out that the nucleus is quite small in relation to the size of the atom. For example, if the nucleus were the size of a tennis ball, the electrons would be 500 meters away from it. Thus, most of an atom is empty space. 6. Einstein's brain is still with us. Albert Einstein's brain, 1879 to 1955, the greatest physicist of all time, did not perish. It remains preserved today in a solution of ethanol and ethyl alcohol. Scientists have studied the organ to find explanations for Einstein's genius, but to date nothing special has been discovered. 7. Proportion between living and dead. The number of people alive today represents 6.5% of the number of people who have been born since the human being exists. The estimate is from the Private Research Institute Population Reference Bureau, PRB, according to which 108 billion people have been born since the first individual of our species emerged, approximately 350,000 years ago. 8. Winston Churchill's parrot continues to curse Hitler. The bird, which belonged to British statesman Winston Churchill, 1874 to 1965, completed 105 years in 2019. In addition to being alive da Silva, the parrot is said to continue cursing the Nazis just like its late owner. 9. It was not slaves who built the pyramids in Egypt. Contrary to what many people think, it was not slaves who built the pyramids in Egypt, but peasants recruited to work in public works. In addition to faith in Pharaoh's divinity, what motivated these people were small rewards, like food and drink. 10. The most expensive work of art in the world. Detail of the most expensive work in the world, created at the end of the 15th century. The most expensive work of art in the world is Salvator Mundi, by Leonardo da Vinci, 1452 to 1519. This painting was auctioned in 2017 and sold for $450.3 million. 11. After being auctioned for $6.6 million, this picture destroyed itself. The author of the work, and its self-destruction, is the famous graffiti artist Banksy. The auction of the work Amenenacom Balau took place as expected. What nobody knew is that there was, hidden in the painting, a paper shredding machine, which was triggered remotely by the English artist. The buyer of the perforated work decided to keep the painting. 12. The largest ghost town in the world is in Ukraine. Pripyat, which once had almost 50,000 inhabitants, is now completely abandoned. This is due to the fear that people have to take risks for the place where the most serious nuclear accident in history occurred, the Chernobyl disaster, which occurred on April 26, 1986. The list continues in the next video. I will stay here. Leave like and subscribe to the channel. Went.